outstanding.
Mike, Katie here. How impressed were you with Jofra Archer, especially bearing in mind 2 months ago he made his debut for England and now he's a World Cup winner?
Well, I have to say, Katie, he when you looked at the England team going into this tournament and prior to it, you looked through the team and thought, if only we had somebody that could bomb 90 miles an hour up front, we would be a complete team. There are some wonderfully talented cricketers in that team already, and certainly the best I've seen ever for England, to be perfectly honest with you. And to have something like Jofra Archer come in to fill the void that we possibly had, if there was a weakness, it was there. And he's come in and done it magnificently. I thought it was great after he bowled that wide first ball and then went for a six that Owen actually went up and had a chat with him and just, he'd been there before, obviously, with Brathwaite and Stokesy and that sort of stuff in the T20 final. So it was really good to see Owen just wander up to him and just try and calm him down if he needed any calming down. He seems to be a pretty cool character. But it was enormous what he did. He kept the skill level high, and he made it very, very difficult for the New Zealand batsmen to get those runs required.
Another cool character, Ben Stokes, hero and player of the match. I mean, bearing in mind what he's been through for the past few years, I suppose it is quite spectacular the way that he has helped and, helped win this World Cup for England.
Look, he's had huge ups and downs, but the one thing he's always maintained has been his unbelievable fitness and his ability to want to be better. He doesn't settle for second best at any time, and without doubt, he's improved so much over the last 2 or 3 years with all the things that have gone on. And I think he's learnt a lot, but he still wants to be better. He's been outstanding, and you talk about Jason Roy and all the others, but just when England needed some adhesiveness in that middle order on a couple of occasions, he's really come good, and he's been fabulous for England, along with obviously a lot of other players who have done England proud. And it is about a team game because you need everybody, as was shown in the final. Everybody needed to contribute in their own way, and they did, and it was just an amazing place to be yesterday.
Because let's talk about you, because you played in the 1987 World Cup final. So what's changed since then?
I suppose the range of shots people have, and the ability to have the freedom to play shots that I suspect most of us could have tried to play, but really didn't fit into the profile of the players in those days and what we needed to do. Some of us tried to go outside that profile and play the reverse sweep, which if you can't play these days, you can't get in the side. But in those days, it was very much frowned upon, and obviously it didn't help us in the final. I got out, so it wasn't very good. But I just think the way that you watch the guys play, and a lot of the shots are just quite incredible, although they are extension of shots that we all play, which was a drive, but they just hit through the line, and they have no sort of, they have a strong, let's put it this way, they have a strong belief that they can do and execute the shots that they need to, and that seems to be something that has been changing certainly in all forms of cricket, because Test cricket even is actually benefiting from the range of shots that people can play these days and the belief to execute them.
And just finally from me, do you think this was the most nail-biting match in cricket history?
I believe so, yes. I mean, we've had one or two. To 2005 Ashes, you had the 81 Headingley. This, and I was sitting there yesterday. I've never seen so many old and young people jumping up and down, screaming and shouting. It was just unbelievable. And I think that it was just a wonderful day for cricket. And as I say, I can't say how much the two sides, the spirit of the game that was played in, and especially at the end when somebody sadly had to lose, how well both sides conducted themselves.
Thank you very much, Katie and Mike. What a final! What a final that was. And for me, as an Irish person, I've never supported England so much in my life. What a captain! Oh, is he still there, Mike?
Yes, sorry. Yes, no. Owen's been fabulous throughout all this. I mean, obviously fortunate enough to have him at Middlesex at our club. And we know what sort of character Owen is. He's very, very cool, very calm, and he's the sort of person that is very good with people, and he makes people believe. He keeps them calm at times when something can sort of go off the rails. So, for me, he has been a hugely important part of actually instilling that belief of allowing people to play the way they and express themselves, if you like. But what we saw in the final was, I think they've gone a step further now. They've actually had to play a different way, and they did, and they got the result they required.
Thank you very much, Mike Gatting there, former England captain. And even the most hardened, seen it all before cricket fans were left slack-jawed and stunned by the drama. Here's Radio 1 and Tailenders podcast presenter Greg James talking to Nikki on 5 Live Breakfast.
I don't think we'll ever get over it. I can't get over it. I don't want to. It was the most extraordinary thing. Everyone, I think, is shell-shocked this morning. If you've been following that team or just English cricket for forever, as a lot of big fans have been, you just can't compute what happened yesterday. It was gone. The match was gone about five or six times. You go, no, this is it. They've blown it. It's gone. And then it was too much to deal with. And I've been trying to say that on the breakfast show this morning. People are like, okay, now we get it. Now we get why you keep going on about cricket, because it's just so good. What a sport. What a turnaround from that team. We just had the best day ever.
I've heard your voice in better shape.
I think if there's a day to do the breakfast show hungover, it's today. Yeah. Someone texted in at 6:30 and they went, they said, it's Greg, this is basically your Brits, isn't it? Even when Grimmy used to come in hungover after the Brits, so this is your Brits. I'm like, it is. Cricket is my Brits.
What was that Super Over like for you, just finally?
Well, there was confusion really in the crowd, because I was there with my dad and Felix from the Tailenders podcast, and everyone just went, now what? What happens now? So it's tied. Do they do it on wickets? Now what happens? And then suddenly the announcer went, it's time for a super over. And everyone went, what? We weren't expecting a super over. And then obviously people were scrabbling around looking at the rules and working out which batsmen were going to come back out. And then someone said to me, how many reviews do they get in a super over? I went, I don't know. We don't know these things. Let's just see what happens. So the feeling when that final over was being bowled by Jofra Archer in that ground, I've never heard anything like it, but also I've never felt anything quite like that tension in there. And it's just, that is what live sport is all about. And I hope it got loads of people into the game that we all love so much yesterday.
Very, very excitable, Greg James, and fair play, every need to be as well. So when I'm on 5 Live, I try to squeeze as much music as I can, and I realise it's now 10 to 3 p.m. and I haven't played any music except for a little bit of Natural Woman at the Oval, but that was not down to me. So I think right now it's time for this.